So let's head to our practice space. And as you do so, I'm going to suggest that you have 2 blocks. If you only have 1, no worries. We'll work with what you have. And you are going to need a yoga belt. So I just set them off to the side of your mat for the moment. We're not going to need them immediately. And if you're wearing any kind of footwear, socks, shoes, please take those off. It'll be pretty important as we come to our standing poses that we're not slipping and sliding on the surface in which you're standing. Even the yoga mat can be a little slippery at times, depending upon what kind that you have. And as you come to seated, take time to rock and move, right? Sometimes I like to move some of the flesh away from the base of the pelvis so I can feel the chair more, right? Roll the shoulders so the chest is nice and open. You might even rock your torso forward and back, looking to find where are those sits bones. Can you feel the, right, what's called the ischial tuberosity? That's that rounded part at the bottom of our pelvis that we sit on. We want our weight over that. So visualizing, right, your shoulders over your hips, your ears directly over your shoulders, feet and ankles in alignment, feet flat on the floor. And then soften your gaze, take your attention inward now that you've found this outward alignment, and check in so that you can align with what is internally true for you today. Am I tired? Am I feeling any kind of discomfort? Am I anxious? Just noticing what shows up for you today so that you can care for yourself, not just physically, but in terms of your energy and your innermost needs. If you haven't already, begin to establish a nice, even breath pattern. So in the past, we've worked with coherent breathing at about 5.5 to 6 count breath in and an equal length in our exhale. 5 might seem a little long for a natural breath, so find what's true for you. Again, notice where your head is aligned, so tuck your chin in slightly as if you were pressing the back of your head into a wall. See if you can lengthen your neck. We'll take 2 more breaths here, allowing everything to settle. And then we're going to work with the breath to ground ourselves. And I'm going to invite you to use sound. So you can use the sound of Om, which is supposed to be a universal sound. If you're not comfortable chanting Om, I invite you to use the word Shalom, which means peace. So we'll start by inhaling and reach your arms out to the side, palms up towards the ceiling to take a full breath in. As we exhale, we're going to press the hands towards the floor in front of us and use our sound. So it might be Shalom. We'll do that twice more. And exhaling. One more time, and your breath might be a little faster than mine, so don't worry about it if you were not coordinated last time. Let your hands rest on your thighs, or they might come to rest over your kneecaps, beginning to bring some awareness and some kindness into the knees and the thighs. We're going to work these thigh muscles, right, rather deliberately today, because we want to have the strength there in order to help keep good alignment in our knees and good knee health. From here, relaxing your arms. Let's start with some body circles. So let your chin come towards your chest and begin to rotate your head to the right. You can come up through neutral. It doesn't have to go back, and to the left and back down towards the chest. And this next time, see if you can let the shoulders rock, right, a little bit and bring a little movement into the shoulders, the upper back. And each time you circle, Make the circles a little bigger, involve more of your spine and your torso, so the rib cage might now be involved. And then maybe you're leaning forward and stretching through the waist and the hips. I might just take one more circle. And then next time you come forward towards your knees, pause there. Hands around your knees for support. Breathe here. You might tuck your chin into your chest to lengthen the back of the neck. And then soften, release the chin. Press into your hands, come up to center. Roll your shoulders back. Take a moment to check in with the weather that is you today. And let's go the other way. So chin will come towards chest. We're going to start just with the head. So begin to circle to the left and up through center, maybe slightly back to the right and back towards the chest. As you continue, allow the shoulders to start to become part of the movement. And then the upper back. Having the rib cage as you feel ready. Whole torso. If that feels right, you may need to make adjustment in the width of your feet. So the next time you come forward, let's again pause there, hands on thighs. If you'd like to tuck your chin in towards your chest to stretch out the neck a little bit. And then release the chin, press into your thighs, come up to center. Roll your shoulders back. And then roll them forward. And then alternate back. Good. Let's take our arms out to the side and shake them out. Shake out the hands. Shake out the fingers. And then making a gentle fist, circle your wrists a little bit. So everything's connected. I know we're focusing on knees. I'm going to go the other way. But that tissue that goes down to our knees is connected to the tissue in our upper body. Good. And then spread your fingers wide. And then make a soft fist and squeeze if you can. Spread them wide. Make a gentle fist and spread them wide. Let's shake them out again. All right, let's bring our hands in front of our heart. And we're going to press. So press your hands to the right and turn your head to the left. Feel that pressure between the palms. Bring everything back to center. And now press the right hand into the left hand, pressing the hand to the left as you turn to look to your right. And come back to the center. Let's do each side again. So we're going to press to the right, look to the left, whatever amount, and back to center, and then to the left, and back to center. And now watching our fingertips, we're going to start to circle the hands. Maybe whatever size circle feels okay for your shoulders and upper back today. Let's make 2 in this direction, whichever way you started. And when you come in front of the chest after the second one, then just reverse and do 2 the other way. So feel that movement in the upper body as well as the neck and shoulders. Good. And then coming back to center, extend your arms forward and then bring your fingertips towards your chest. This is a nice wrist stretch and stretch them forward. I'm going to turn sideways a little bit and then I'm going to bring my fingertips towards my chest. So it's a little bit of a wrist stretch. One more time forward and then back towards you. Good. Bringing your hands in front of you, bring the elbows together, the forearms, interlace your fingers, and now make figure 8s with your wrist. Take your time, go slowly, doesn't have to be fast. Notice any clicking or cracking in your wrists. I'm getting a lot this morning. And then can you reverse and go the other way? That's always the challenge. Good. And then coming to stillness with hands still interlaced, press your palms forward, round your spine. Feel the shoulder blades pull apart. And then lift your arms up overhead, stretch nice and tall. And we're going to release the hands and turn and twist to our right. The arms just come down and touch your chair and touch your leg. And then inhale, reach up, nice and tall, and do the same thing, twist to the other side. Good. Reach up to the center. Reach back, grab the sides of your chair, and inhale, lift your chest. A little bit of a back bend as if we're doing cobra. Release your hands, come to center, hands to your thighs, and now bring your belly forward, stretch out. If you'd like to drop your head towards the floor, if that would feel okay to your spine, you want to shake your head yes and no here. Feel free to do that. And then pressing into your thighs, let's come up to center. And take any movement you need to here, shaking things out. Nice. Well, let's pause for a moment, see how we're doing. So let's really focus on the lower body now. So holding your chair, I want you to lift your right thigh. And let's start with some circles. So because we're not holding the thigh, we're starting to strengthen those muscles. If you're feeling like, oh, I just don't have that energy today and you'd rather hold it, please do what's best for you. And then circle the other way. Good. Holding the thigh, now circle your lower leg as if you were stirring a cup of coffee. So get a little mobility into the knee. And I'm holding it here so I can keep the thigh steady and then go the other way a couple times. I mean, you're welcome to. Good. And then coming to stillness, extend that foot forward. Feel that nice release in the thigh. And lift your heel slightly, circle your ankle a little bit. We know the calf muscles are important. We'll be talking about those. And then go the other way. Good. And then do a little flexing, pressing the heel away, and then stretch the top of the foot, point the toes, flex and press. Good. And then lower that heel to the floor. Make sure you're towards the front edge of your chair. So I'm going to scoot forward even more and hold the chair so you don't fall off. We're going to do some strengthening here. So on an inhale, you're going to lift that leg, keeping the knee extended, and then lower it down. We're going to do that 3 more times. So lift and hold, 2, 3, and lower down. 2 more, lift and hold, 2, 3, and lower down. Everybody feeling that thigh working? One more time, lift and hold, 2, 3, and lower down. Whew. Take a breath here and now bring your belly towards your thigh. Right? Draw the toes towards your face so you feel an opening in the back of the leg. We're trying to get into the hamstrings here. Make sure you're breathing, not holding your jaw, and then sit up tall. Right? Bend that knee, bring the leg in, shake it out. Might be side to side, might be a real shake out. Or if you need to do a little rub and massage to the knee and the thigh. That's a workout already, right? And we haven't even stood up. Okay. All right, so come back to neutral. You're gonna kind of know where we're headed now. Hold the sides of your chair. We're gonna lift the left leg and circle from the thigh. So you're circling from the hip joint. Engage your core. Go the other way when you're ready. Good. Coming to stillness, you can circle the lower leg. I like to hold my thigh just to keep it still so it's really from the knee down that's moving. Make sure you go both directions. Good. And then let's bring that heel to the floor, stretch the foot out, and then lifting the heel slightly, circle your ankle. You certainly could keep the heel on the floor. I just find it a little easier to lift it. And then a few the other way. Good. And then coming to stillness, flex your foot. Your heel can rest on the floor here, and then point your top of your foot away, stretch the front of the ankle. And notice how these movements, we're going to flex and point one more time. Right, how that feels in your knee. And then rest your heel on the floor, sitting up nice and tall, engaging core, but also using these thigh muscles. We're going to inhale and lift, hold, and lower. 3 more times. Lift, hold, 2, 3, and lower. Lift, hold, 2, 3, and lower. 1 more time. Lift, hold, 2, 3, and lower. Ooh, good job. Take a breath in, nice tall spine. Exhale, bring your belly forward. I'm still holding the sides of my chair, and I'm looking for that stretch into the hamstring. Breathe here. Nice. And then inhale up to center. Bend your knee so your foot can come back to the floor. And again, any movement that you want to, shaking it out here. Ooh, and a little maybe rub here as well. Okay. All right. Let's come up to standing. Right. So we're going to need our blocks in a moment. We're not going to need the belt just yet. So I'm going to bring my blocks to my chair seat just so I don't have to bend down to the floor again and move the chair to the front of my mat. And we'll use them in just a moment. So just have them nearby. And as you come up to standing and bringing yourself weight bearing on those knees, right, take any movement you need to here. So it could be side to side rocking, maybe some circling in your hips. Maybe you need to shake out the legs again, right, holding onto your chair. Whatever would feel good for you. Okay. All right, and so let's work a little bit now on those calf muscles before we come to the inner thigh. So I'm going to turn and face my chair so I can keep my fingertips here. We're going to start with calf raises because we want to strengthen the Achilles tendon and the calf muscles because they support the knee from below. So fingertips resting on the chair, you're going to inhale, rock forward, and lift your heels up off the floor and hold for 1, 2, 3, and then lower your heels down. Let's do that again. We're going to lift up the heels and hold for 1, 2, 3, and lower back down. Feel that calf working. 2 more. Lift up and hold for 1, 2, 3, and lower down. Last time, lift up and hold for 1, 2, 3, and lower down. Good. Shake out both legs. You feel the calves working, right, and how that affects your knee. Now we want to stretch out the calves. So I'm going to start with my left foot forward, my right foot back. We're going to keep the legs straight. Remember, we did this last week. I'm going to be bending my elbows. The idea is to feel a stretch. So you might feel a stretch in this left leg, but we really want to feel it in the calf of the right leg. So try one first as you bend your elbows, keeping legs straight. Can you feel it in that back calf? If you can't, as you come up, adjust your stance. You might need to go a little wider. The other trick is to have your toes pointed forward. So as if I were standing in mountain pose and I just stepped 1 foot forward and both heels on the ground, right? And you want to be gentle here. We don't want to jerk, right, and tear anything. So we're going to do 3 of these and hold each one for 3 counts. So as you bend your elbows, come forward, we're going to stay for 2, 3, and then come up to standing. And bending the elbows, we're leaning forward. Head is still lifted and in line with the spine. 2, 3, and back up to standing. And one more time, bend your elbows. Try not to jut your chin forward, but to tuck your chin a little bit. 2, 3, and back up to standing. Good. Step forward. Take any movement you need to here before we do the other side. Okay, so right foot forward, left foot back. Take one of those experiment, like am I feeling it in my calf or my toes pointed forward? All right, so let's do a total of 4 because we did an extra one on the other side. So take a breath in as you bend your elbows and exhale, come forward for 2, 3, and then push the chair away. So it's like you're doing a push-up against the chair. Exhaling forward, stay for 1, 2, 3, and come back up. 2 more, coming forward on your exhale, stay for 2, 3, and come up to standing. Last one. Exhaling forward, stay, 2, 3, and come on up to standing. Good. Step forward, shake out your legs a little bit. So this next one is where we're going to use our blocks, right? And so let me show you first. So my thought was, and I'm going to turn to face you, you can certainly still be facing the back of your chair, is to have one block between our feet so that we're almost hugging it between the instep. If you don't have 2 blocks, you can skip this one, right? And find that comfortable place and what's a usual mountain for you. The second block is going to go between our thighs. So try it if you have the 2 blocks. If you find it's too much, I would say move the one between your feet because you might need your feet a little bit wider. But we're going to be coming into chair pose and the idea of squeezing both the block between the thighs. Remember, we're trying to work the inner thighs very intentionally today, but it also is hugging everything in. So we start to work the outer hip muscles and into the glutes, which is important. So this is the movement that we're going to do, right? You're welcome to modify the arms in any way that works for you. Right? We're going to inhale the arms up, and then we're going to exhale, bend our knees and come into chair pose. And then reach up and lower your arms. Other option is instead of inhaling all the way up, you can come to a cactus arm And then as you bend your knees, you can reach straight forward. So I want to give you both options. So do what is best for you. Let's now stay in the pose for at least 3 counts, just as we did before. So inhale, arms come up, whatever variation you're doing. Exhale, reaching forward, bending the knees, and stay for 2, 3. Straighten the legs, bend the arms or take them overhead, and then lower the arms. Let's do that again. So inhale, arms come up. Exhale, reaching forward, and arms can come to shoulder level and stay. 1, 2, 3. Straighten your legs, reach up, and lower your arms. We're going to do 2 more. So arms up, overhead or into cactus. Bend your knees, arms come forward in front of your chest. Stay. 1, 2, 3. Make sure you're squeezing your block. Press into the block as you lift up and lower the arms. This last time, let's see if we stay a little longer. So arms reach up. Exhale, come into your chair pose and stay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Press into your feet, reach up, and lower your arms. Good. Take the block out from between your thighs. Make sure you hold the chair. Step away from the block on the floor. Shake things out. We're going to use the blocks again later in our practice. So just put them off to the end of your mat, out of the way. And then pause for a moment. Notice how that felt and what are you feeling in your inner thighs, right? That block gives us more awareness there, as well as something to squeeze into so that we're really engaging those muscles. So important for knee alignment. All right, nice job. We're going to move into our warrior series now. So I'm going to turn to face my chair. And again, I like to start with my left foot forward, right foot back. That way when I turn towards you. And remember, tracking of the knee, that alignment's important. So looking at your left knee, bend it. Right? You want to still be able to see the tips of your toes. Right? You don't want the knee falling inward. You really want it to track forward and to have knee over ankle. You may find that you have to widen your stance in order to do that, but be mindful of your own knee. Okay, and do that a couple of times, in and out, finding that good tracking for your knee. We want to keep that now as we add in the arms. So you can hold the chair and do just one arm, or you can use both arms. So as we bend the knee, I'm going to bring just one arm forward. Then we're going to make a fist and draw that in towards the waist. And then as we press to the floor, we'll straighten the front knee. If you're using both arms, right? Both arms will float forward as the knee bends. Keeping the knee bent, we're going to draw the fist into the waist. Press to the earth and straighten your knee. We're going to do 2 more. So arms float forward, draw fists into your waist, knuckles are up, press to the floor and straighten. This time as we bring our knuckles in, so we're going to float forward, bring your knuckles in, and let's stay here for 4 breaths. So taking a breath in and a breath out. If you need to hold the chair, please do. A breath in, a breath out. Check that alignment of the knee. Maybe give it a little touch to remind you of good tracking. Last breath. Good. Holding your chair, bringing your hand to the right side of your waist. Turn your body now towards the long end of your mat. We're going to turn our feet towards our chair. So even the back toes turn in a little bit. We're coming into warrior 2. Again, think about tracking. So I often bring my hand to the thigh as I bend my knee. I want to find that alignment towards second and third toe. I'm going to do that a couple of times, really looking at my own alignment. And then once I find that place that I think I can sustain, again, knee over ankle, right? Knee moving towards the pinky toe side of the foot. You can extend one or both arms as we come and stay in warrior 2. So try not to just let the back leg hang out there. Think about pressing into both feet and hugging the inner thighs in towards each other, as if you had a big beach ball between your legs and you didn't want it to run away because you had something else going on with your arms. And notice as you do that, squeezing, the tendency is to clench in your face and in your breath. See if you can soften your face, soften your breath. Take one more breath here. Good. And then lower your arms. We're going to keep the legs as they are. Your back hand's going to come to your thigh, and we're going to take a back bend. So you're welcome to take the hand up into the looking glass or reach up to the ceiling. If that feels like, well, I might fall over, hold the chair, please. And a couple breaths here. You might check that knee and then go back to your pose. All right, coming up to center, straightening both legs. bring your hand to the left side of your waist. We're going to shift our pelvis away as we come towards triangle pose. As soon as you shift towards your chair, you're going to feel some stretch in the inner thigh here. If you want a little more engagement, you can bring your hand to the thigh, or if you can reach your shin, and think about pressing your shin or your thigh up into your hand. So we're engaging those muscles. Take your left shoulder and open it back as if you were against a wall. And take 2 more breaths here, but you come out sooner if your body's telling you it needs to. And then softening that left knee slightly, inhale up to center. Turn your feet parallel and make your way in towards the chair. Shake out your legs. Last week we did a knee to chest balance, and today I want to work a little bit more on strengthening through the calf and the thighs, because we're going to do what's called baby dancer pose. So holding onto your chair, we're going to stand on this left, or I'm sorry, I guess it's the right leg from your viewpoint, right? And I'm going to bend the opposite knee. I want to try and bring the knees in alignment. So I don't want one knee way in front. I really want them parallel. So I turn sideways so you could see, and lifting that foot. It's a lot of work to do this. Try flexing your foot. It'll make it a little easier. And see if you can hold here. If this is too intense and you need to come out of it and then come back in, please do what's best for you. But feel all that work in both legs, baby dancer pose. And then release it down. Good, shake it out. Before we move our chairs and go to the other side, let's do a little down dog, or if empty coat sleeves would feel better. But I kind of like stretching out the back of my body, so I offer both options. Choose the one that's best for you. As you come into your standing down dog, bend your knees as much as is comfortable. Maybe shift your hips side to side. Or if you'd like, straighten your legs, see if you can get a little more hamstring stretch here. And then whenever you feel ready, lift your head, walk in towards your chair. Roll things out. Make any adjustments you need to before we go to the second side. So I'm going to move my chair. Take your time. Okay. All right, so we're starting in our warrior one. So last time, I think I said we start with the left foot forward. This time we're going to start with the right, or whatever foot you didn't do last time. Again, I just want to turn and open towards you. Okay. And start with that, looking at your knee and bending. If you bend so much that you can't see your toes, you'll see that my knee's going way out over my ankle. It just puts added strain on the knee. So best that you can, right? We want to find joint over joint. When we have that bone in between, there's a little more strength. And we want to make sure the knee is moving towards the outer part of our leg, not falling inward. All right. So once you're comfortable and you feel like, okay, I can keep this alignment going, let's add our arms. Could be one or both. So as we bend the knee, arm will reach forward, chest height. Then we're going to bring fist in towards the waist, and then we'll press to the floor as we straighten the knee. You're doing both arms. We're going to do a couple more. So reaching forward, draw the fist in, and then press to the floor. And the arms are just reaching up to chest height. They're not even going as high as the shoulders. Draw the fist in and press to the floor. This time we'll stay, so arms will come forward. We'll bring in towards the waist. Check the alignment of your knee. We're going to stay here for 4 breaths. Notice if you want to breathe quickly because you want to get out of this pose. Make sure you're standing tall. I count 1 more breath, but if you're done, and then release your arms, straighten your knee. We're going to bring now hand to the back part of your waist and turn towards the long edge of our mat. And take a moment to turn your feet and then reorient them towards your chair. Again, we want to think about tracking. It's a different knee, and depending upon what's happening in your body, right, it might be a little different. So as we bend the knee, we're looking for that good tracking knee over ankle, good alignment, and then straightening. Do that a couple of times. This can also be done seated in the chair. And then once you find that good alignment, you're sure that you feel that strength, and you want to extend 1 or both arms into warrior 2. Feel free to hold the chair if it's difficult to balance. We're looking towards the direction of our chair. We're being strong, and we're activating both legs, right? Hugging in letting the muscles do the work. This is great for our bones as well as the strength of our knees. Take 2 more breaths here. And then lower your arms. Good, we're gonna come into our reverse warrior. So I'm bringing my hand to my back thigh because I wanna press that leg up. And I'm gonna tilt back. So it could be your hand mirror, you're reaching up to the sky, or simply the tilt. So whatever feels best for you and safe. We don't wanna be wobbling too much. If you're wobbling, please hold your chair. Take 2 more breaths here. I'm just showing you the different options. And then inhale up to center, hand to the chair. Hand can be on your waist on the back side. So now we're going to shift our pelvis away from the chair. Start to feel that stretch in the inner thigh. If you feel comfortable, bring your hand to your thigh and pressing the thigh up into it, you can. We're going to take now that opposite shoulder and roll it back and open. So you're leaning towards your chair in triangle. There you go. 2 more breaths if you can. And then bending the knee closest to your chair, just slightly press into your foot, come up to center, turn your feet forward, and then take your time to bring the feet together. Might heel toe or step in, shake out. We're going to come into that same baby dancer pose. So hold the chair, have it by the side of your standing leg. The opposite leg is the one that's going to bend. Right? And we're going to lift that heel and bend the knee. We want to try and bring the knees in alignment. That can be difficult sometimes when there's weakness in the front of the thighs, right? The knee wants to come forward. So you're doing the best that you can, right? Pressing into the standing foot. Flex the foot of that outer leg. That will help because it helps to engage the muscles around the knee. Take 2 more breaths if you can, but come out sooner if you need to. And then when you're ready, release that leg, shake out both legs. That's hard work, right? Just standing with that knee bent. Good. And then whatever would be a counter pose for you. So could be shifting your hips, a little empty coat sleeves, or if you want to come into down dog again, right? Down dog is one of my favorites. And I like how it stretches the backs of the legs, which hamstrings are important for knee health, and we'll be talking about them in about 2 weeks. So when you're ready, come back to mountain, pause here. Again, check in, see what the weather is like for you at this point in your practice. And before we come back down, let's do a little balancing. So just holding the chair here, we'll start with the foot that's closest to the chair and bring the opposite foot in front. So for me, it would be my right foot. And we want to see if we can balance here. Last week we played a little with bending the knees and then straightening them. So find, does a little bend in your knee make it easier to balance and easier to deal with some of the wobbling? Or straight legs feel steadier? Invitation is to let go of the chair, even for a second, but you don't have to let go very long. Right? Have your hand where it can easily grab the chair as you need to. Take 1 more breath, tall spine. And then holding onto your chair, step out of the pose, shake out both legs. We're going to do the opposite leg in front. So I'm going to start with my outer leg and then bring the inner foot inside. And the heel is just barely touching my toes. So I'm staying exactly where I was. And again, play with bending and straightening the knees. Could be bending them a lot or just a little. Where do you find stability? And once you find stability, look at your horizon line. And if it feels safe to do so, start to let go of that chair. If you can balance here, we'll take 2 more breaths. Nice job. Good. Make sure you hold the chair as you step out of the pose, shake everything out, any movement that you'd like. We're going to come down to seated, and you'll need 1 block and your strap. So if they're not nearby, I'm also grab my socks and have them nearby for Shavasana. Just have those props handy. Good. And I'm going to put my block really in the middle here, because we're going to come into figure 4. You know that's usually where I want the block for. So take your belt as you come to seated. And let's make a big loop that you can step your right foot into. You want to bring it around the ball of your foot. And then holding each end of the belt in a separate hand, lift that foot. Doesn't have to lift high. Notice if you're straining in your shoulders. So see if you can relax your shoulders. I like to walk my hands further down because then when my arms are long and I draw my shoulders back, it naturally brings some tension on the belt. Let's start with some very simple, small, slow circles. You're certainly welcome to take those circles and make them bigger if that would feel better to you. Small is my preference, but make them the size that feels good. And then make sure you take them the opposite direction. And you're welcome to start small and get bigger, or start big and get smaller. So, excellent. As we come to center, we're going to press the heel away and draw the toes in towards your face. I'm going to again walk my hands down my belt a little bit so I can let the weight of my arms do more of the work. And that way I don't have to grip the strap so tightly and create white knuckles and tension. Breathe here. Now we're going to open it out to the side. So take the belt into the right hand, hold the chair with your left hand, and open it out. You're going to feel that in your inner thigh. Breathe here. Bring it back towards center. And your choice whether you use the belt to bring the ankle to rest on your thigh, or this is where your block might be handy. So you might put your foot to the floor and then bring that block. You can have the block right in the center, or you can take it to the outside of your left foot. So there's a little more opening in the hips. See what feels best for your body. Okay. And take a moment with your hand on the thigh, not the knee, to give a little bit of pressure. And then let's come into give and receive. So we're going to bring the elbows by our waist, palms up. Take a breath, be nice and tall. And as you exhale, reach forward as if you had a tray you were offering something to a friend. And then bring it back in. And reach forward. Look them in the eyes. So look forward, don't look down. And then come back. Let's do two more. Reach forward, offering, and then taking back in that gift. Last time, reach forward. And bring it back in. Good. Relax your arms. We're going to come into a twist. So if you're on the block, you'll just simply bring your foot down to the floor and cross here. If you had your ankle here and you can comfortably cross at the knees, if this isn't comfortable or for some reason, circulation issues, right, this is another option. And we're going to twist towards that right leg that we just worked. So I'm going to take my right hand and hold my chair. My left hand's going to come to my side. I'm going to inhale here in this mild twist and then exhale. Take my belly to the right and look over that right shoulder. See if you can relax your shoulders here. Lengthen through the crown of your head so you get a little taller. Make sure you're not leaning back in order to twist. So if you've gone too far and you feel like your spine is complaining, untwist a bit. I invite you to take two more breaths here. And with your next inhale, slowly unwind. Come back to the front, uncross your legs, shake out that right leg that we just worked. I'm going to just move my block so it's ready for the other side as we now work with this other side. So let's make our loop and step into it and lift the leg and walking your hands down the belt so that your arms and your shoulders and the weight of the upper arm, the humerus, can help you. And let's start with some circles here. Just want to put my belt off to the side so it doesn't bang. Remember, they can be whatever size you like. And then a few the other way. Make sure you're sitting up nice and tall, that you're not leaning back in your chair. Good. And then coming to stillness, I'm again going to walk my hands forward, draw the toes back towards you as you press the heel away. I have my foot pretty high. You might find that lower to the floor is better for you. So please adjust. Don't feel like you have to exactly mirror what I'm doing. Breathe here. We're going to take the belt into now that left hand. Hold the chair with your right hand and open the leg out to the side. And you may find that this right knee opens out to the side to help you stay balanced. Let that happen. your body's doing, right, the work to make sure that you don't fall off the chair. Breathe here. Nice job. I'm going to bring it back to center, and your choice whether the ankle comes to your thigh or it comes to your block. And you can just drop your belt off to the side. We're done with that for the moment. Right, so wherever you are is fine. Hand to your thigh, gentle pressure. I'm just going to show it with foot up here this time. And then let's engage in our give and receive. So elbows to the waist, take a breath in as you exhale, reaching forward and then coming back. And try to look that person in the eye. So you're offering to a friend, you're looking straight ahead and then coming back. And look at your friend or your family or loved one as you offer to them. Taking back in one more time, reaching forward as you offer and then come back. Good. Relax your arms. We're going to cross at the knees or the ankle. And then right hand's going to come across, left hand's going to hold the chair. So right away, our body starts to move into the twist. So take a breath, get a little taller, and then twist to look over that left shoulder. You want to be sitting tall. We're going to stay here for a few breaths. So use the breath. We're not absolutely still in this pose to lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, perhaps to twist a little bit more. One more breath here. With your next inhale, slowly unwind, uncross your ankles or your legs, shake them out. Roll your shoulders. And let's take one final forward bend. So take a breath in, hands on thighs, exhale, bring your belly towards your thighs. If you'd like to relax your head and let it dangle here, I invite you to do that. You might even shake your head no and yes. And then come to stillness, feel the stretch in your low back and into your hips. And then with an inhale, press into your thighs, lengthen your spine, come up to seated. And roll your shoulders. We're going to come into relaxation and then our breath work into meditation. If you're staying in the chair, you might choose to have the block between your feet as we did standing or between your knees, just for some more awareness there, right? But not necessary. It's just an option. You might also like the block behind your back. If you'd like to lay down, go to where that spot is for you. I'm going to use the block behind my back today, just because I want that extra spinal support. And this is a good time to put socks back on, so I'm going to grab mine real quick so that you're warm and cozy. And a good time to put on an extra sweater if you need it. And if you're laying down, be particularly aware of what's happening in the knees and in the hamstrings. We work the inner thighs and those hamstrings in our practice. So you want to perhaps put up a pillow or a rolled blanket underneath your knees. That will also release some of the tension in your low back. Make sure your head is supported. And then let your gaze soften, eyes, lids close. Take that awareness within. Once more, noticing the weather that is you. Notice some of those things we noticed at the beginning of class. Has anything shifted or changed? It doesn't make it better now and worse before. It's just different. This is a practice of equanimity we do in yoga too. Notice without necessarily labeling and creating judgment. That's interesting. This has changed. Allow your body to rest and notice where you might still be holding yourself. Notice those hardworking thighs. Notice the hips. Notice the buttocks muscles. Even if you're sitting, can you invite a little more softening, allowing your weight to move into support? whatever you're resting on. Notice any tension in your hands, your arms, or shoulders. Relax the muscles of your neck, your jaw, and your face. Find stillness here. We're going to rest here in silence for 3 to 4 minutes. This is an important part of our practice. Sometimes we get so busy with the movement and the learning that we forget to take time here. So don't worry, I'm not going to leave you during this time of silence. I'll mind the time. Find yourself at peace and rest. So we'll get ready to transition into seated. Our transitions are as important as any posture or movement that we've done in our practice. So think about how you want to slowly begin to wake up where you are. What do you want to move first? Mm, What might have gotten stiff in just those few minutes that you need to bring some movement to? Take your time and stretch in whatever ways you'd like. Doesn't have to look like what I'm doing. Mm, You know that if you're laying down, I always advise you to roll to your side before you come up to seated. Pause there. I'm going to move just a little closer as we come into our quiet time. So I'm just going to move my chair closer. So take your time. Right? We're going to come to seated for about 3 to 5 minutes of breath work and meditation. I think it's important to get the benefits of our practice that we include all the pieces of the practice. And pranayama and meditation, working on our concentration muscles, incredibly valuable. So as you find your way to seat, find a seat that is comfortable and supportive so the spine can be tall. So if that means sitting back in your chair so this chair can support you, just try not to let the chair do all the work. Try and use your muscles a little bit. Hands can rest on your lap, or you can do that chin mudra of thumb and index finger touching, or some other gesture that's comfortable for you, right? Today, I'm going to take the chin mudra and just have my hands resting down as I want to send more of that grounding energy down into my knees and my feet. Soften your gaze. And we're going to start with some awareness of our breath and move into a little bit of silent meditation. So notice your natural breath. Notice whether it's smooth or rough. Where do you feel the breath moving in your body? What's moving? Notice your shoulders, your chest, your rib cage and belly. Notice the back of your body. What happens to the shoulder blades, the back part of the ribs, and the back part of the waist as you breathe. Notice any sensations in the pelvic floor, those muscles we might use to stop the flow of urine. Notice any sensations there. Be aware of the breath as it comes in and out through the nose, a little cooler going in, a little warmer flowing out. If any of these things don't resonate for you, don't worry. Just notice what's true for you. Just giving you things you might observe. And now begin to notice the pause that occurs naturally at the end of your inhale before we release the breath in our lungs. And then there's that pause at the end of the exhale before the lungs invite in that next breath. Take time to rest in those pauses, to notice that stillness. You want to keep awareness on the breath and on those pauses, and you may find that your mind begins to wander off because sometimes our minds are easily bored. If that's the case for you, once you've noticed that you've wandered off to other thoughts, kindly, if you were dealing with a small, innocent child, bring your awareness back to those small pauses, those small spaces between the inhale, the exhale, and between the exhale and the inhale. Rest in those pauses for about 30 more seconds. And then letting go of your breath awareness. Again, check the weather that is you. How is your body feeling? How is your mind? How is your spirit within? And then bringing hands together, heart center in prayer, or one hand over the other. We connect heart to heart, beating heart of love and truth and hope, that heart that wants to belong and be appreciated and feel purposeful. We all share those same longings, and it's that sameness that we want to connect with here, what makes us a community and connected. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing in this time. I pray that you be filled with peace and with joy, with love and with light. Namaste. Thanks, everyone.